So I will leave you. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing. Our friend Pele, one of the most amazing soccer players of all time. It's sacrifice, it's hard work, and perseverance. We have to keep going. So we are going to be sharing today skills to help you do that. When do we know when we need help with our academic skills? Maybe if your grades aren't fabulous, if you are consistently trying really hard but still getting the worst scores. When your attitude and mood changes towards your school, like I don't want to go, or suck, or that's terrible, whatever that might be, that's a kind of a warning sign. I don't like come up with excuses in national grade. Oh, that was just one test. I can bring that up, no problem. But we're not bringing that. Right? Or, oh, it's my teacher. My teacher doesn't want me, or my teacher's giving me this grade. Your teacher does not give you grades. You are learning. So when any of that is happening, you might be like, maybe I need some help in learning the strategies that are going to help me be a successful student.
It's going rogue.
So today we're going to be going over 6 strategies that Mrs. Readers will actually be taking over.
And so you guys have these in your notes. So go ahead and flip open to the very first page. We already pasted your notes in for you so that you would have some time. We would have more time. All right, so here are the strategies that we are going to be reading and going over today. So can you say them with me? Number 1 is, number 2 is, number 3 is, number 4 is, number 5 is, and number 6 is. Okay, grab your iPad, scan that QR code. Do it quick, do it quick. I want you to tell me which of these 6 areas are you the strongest in and which are you the weakest in? Thank you. So if we are looking at this graph right here, I am seeing that the majority of 8th graders feel like their greatest strength lies in organization. And I'm seeing that the area that the most 8th graders feel like, oh, this is an area I need to keep working on, is studying. Studying for those tests and studying for those assignments that we have to do. Okay, so we are going to go into each of these a little bit. We don't have a lot of time today, but we're going to start with note-taking. So note-taking. Note-taking is something that you guys already have a lot of experience with because within your classrooms, you do a lot of interactive note-taking. We use our Avid strategy. But some of the things to think about, and you can follow along on your notes as I'm going over this. You can underline, you can write to the side of your notes. But on note-taking, we want to make sure that we're active listeners, that we're taking notes that are easy to read, that we're writing important information. You can't write everything, right? So abbreviating, writing important information, using an outline format, going over, interacting with your notes as soon as possible, and getting notes if you are absent. Okay, everyone pause. Raise your hand if you underlined or annotated one note out of what I just said. Raise your hand. High, raise it high. Raise it high if you annotated or underlined even one note. Okay. 8th grade teachers, can you guys take a look at those? Raise your hand and can you just take note of them? Afterwards, if you could give me the list of students. So right now, guys, I said for note taking, you could annotate to the side, you could underline, and during the note taking part of our workshop today, you forgot to note take. Right? So this is the first step to effective academic strategies is note-taking. Okay, next slide. So the next, number 2, managing your time. I have news for you guys. This is something you are going to be trying to learn to do for the rest of your life. Because you get older and you have more things you have to do and it gets harder. So here's some ways to manage your time. You need to set goals, prioritize your tasks, make a schedule, revisit and revise your plan. So let's look at this first one, setting goals. So we want to make sure that when we set goals that are specific, not vague, not like, oh, I hope one day I can be an NBA player, but I have no plans on how to get there, right? And I don't play basketball at school, but I hope I can be an NBA player. We want to set both long-term goals and short-term goals. We want to have deadlines, and we want to know that sometimes our goals are going to change, but we also need to know which ones to stick to. So let's talk about a type of goal called a SMART goal. A SMART goal is an acronym. SMART stands for 5 words. What does S stand for? What does M stand for? What does A stand for? R, T. So when we are coming up with goals, we're making sure that our goals are specific, exactly what needs to be accomplished, measurable, like we can actually measure it, attainable, it's possible, relevant, it matters or affects us, and timed, there's an end time. So I have a challenge for you. On the next slide, you will see that you have in your notes, go ahead and turn the page. You have a SMART goal. And in front of you, you have markers. I want you, with your team, to color code this SMART goal. What part is purple, specific? What part is red, measurable? What part is green, attainable? Blue, relevant, and orange, timed. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, but before we do that, eyes on me. Eyes on me. Before we do that, we're going to read it together. Ready? Read it with me. I will study for my math class for 1 hour each afternoon, Monday to Friday, for 5 weeks in order to improve my grade from a 2 to a 3 and become a better student. 2 minutes. Color code. Go. So which part is relevant? Like, why does this matter? Which part shows you why this matters? What's the whole point of this? Exactly. So mark that in blue. To become a better student, mark it in blue. So the next strategy is we have to learn to set priorities. And that is not always easy, but here's a trick. First, we need to think about making a to-do list. And then deciding what's important and what's maybe not quite as important. And one way of doing that is by creating an ABC list. So what's an ABC list? So ABC list is like our must-dos, our may-dos, and our wanna-dos. Must-dos are those things that you have to do. They support your long-term goal, or they're urgent, or other people are counting on you. You have to get them done. May-dos are important, but maybe they're not urgent. And lastly, our want-to-dos, like playing video games. It's something we want to do, but do we have to do it? On your table, you will see a baggie with Post-it notes. You are going to have 2 minutes with your team to organize those to-dos on your anchor chart into priorities A's, B's, and C's. Go ahead and begin now. Okay, Nasli, can you tell me one of your group's priority A's? One. Say again? Complete missing assignments. Lugo, can you tell me one priority B?
One of these.
Try out for soccer, and one priority C.
find about different high school options to like work in.
Okay, so yeah, like that's important. Maybe it doesn't need to be done exactly today, but it's important, right? All right, next slide, Ms. Huddle. And we are going to finish up with this. I'm gonna pass it off.
Okay, most of you said you were pretty good at getting organized, about 30%. We can do some years. I'm gonna come in, you know, and raise your hand if you do it. Yeah, we don't do all those things, too, don't raise your hand. Okay, okay. So this is all part of it. Your teachers tell me all the time that it has to be
Guys, voices off. Voices off, please. Oh, it just came out weird.
Another part of organizing is that you should have a schedule. Anybody else? A calendar?
Anything, right?
This one was green. This is green.
Conversation. It's very important. It helps us to have a visual of what our week is going to look like, or what responsibilities we have. And now, having thought about priorities A, B, and C, I hope that you are able to organize yourself better into those spots. Think about your weekly amount of time that you have available and how you're going to get everything accomplished. And then for you guys, you can say that studying is really hard. Studying is really hard because that's most of the independent work that you do. You can't be studying and then you have to have an assessment. How does it, what does that look like? It looks like having your friends quiz you, quizzing yourself, using old papers that you have, assignments that you submitted, reusing those, redoing the problems that you did wrong, attending studying calls, creating worksheets as a quiz by covering up the answers and doing them, looking at the parts of the assignment that you need to understand. And using tools like Khan Academy and your other resources that you use on a daily basis, that you can use at home, so that you guys can go over it. And studying doesn't matter what it takes. And all of these notes and why I went through them so quickly is because they are in the books that you have. The composition books that we give you, you're not going to throw them away. You are not going to lose them. Because we're going to be using these for every single academic success.
Again, thank you so much, Feaster Charter families. Our first student success workshop has been completed. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them down in the chat and I will answer them in the chat. So thank you all so much. If you have no further questions, you are more than welcome to leave this meeting and continue on with your day. If you had an 8th grade student who was part of this meeting today, they are taking their composition books with them so that they can utilize them at home. Again, this one was specifically for 8th grade students. Our 7th grade students will be given a very similar workshop in the coming weeks. So we'll be ending this meeting in about 1 minute. Feaster Charter families, again, thank you so much for being able to be here with us. We appreciate your time and we appreciate your support. Thank you, Feaster Charter families.